Many people know what they are, but most people have no understanding of how to use them. That's why in today's video, I want to give you a full tutorial on how to use hashtags as a musician. For those joining me for the first time, my name is Rebecca Smart-Buchan and I help musicians grow their audience and business online. Go ahead and hit subscribe to my channel, hit the bell to get notified whenever I share a new lesson about music marketing. I launch about one video per week and I promise not to disappoint you. Now let's get started with hashtags. Using hashtags is a great way to grow your following and get your content seen by people that are not currently following you. It can be super effective if used the correct way. If you manage to rank amongst the hashtags, you can be visible on these feeds for several days, sometimes even weeks. This all depends on how much content is being shared using those hashtags. You're probably sick of hearing, use small, medium, and large hashtags for maximum efficiency. This is all very generalized and not specific to musicians. Today, I want to show you exactly how you can start trending on the different hashtags. But first, let's take a step back and start from the beginning so you get a full understanding of what hashtags are. So Instagram is a search engine and it's far less advanced than Google's. Google picks up text, video, images, everything whenever you search for something. However, since Instagram is mostly images and video content, it's hard for Instagram to distribute the content for the right audience. Instagram allows you to add hashtags, similar to how you would use keywords in your blog posts or on YouTube. Keywords are a little different though than hashtags. Using the same keywords on YouTube and Instagram will not work. You really need to understand how people are searching on the different platforms. For example, a keyword I will use for this video on YouTube would be hashtags musicians tutorial, all in one, 3 words. Whereas hashtags musicians tutorial on Instagram won't be very useful for me. On YouTube, people type with spaces and keywords. And on Instagram, there aren't spaces or special characters. So you need to approach it differently. So when I post a snippet of this YouTube video onto Instagram, I will go for something more general, but still niche to my target audience. This means I'll use something like hashtag music marketing because I know that there's a lot of people following that exact hashtag. By adding hashtags to your content, you're making it easier for the Instagram algorithm to understand where to place your content. And of course, to who. But how do you start trending on hashtags? Well, whenever someone lands on the hashtag search page, if you're trending, you get a place on the top of that feed. This is of course very dependent on the hashtag, but you could end up sitting on the top for weeks, which can drive some serious traffic your way. In order for anybody scrolling the hashtag feed to get a good understanding of what my posts are, I make sure that the first slide of my carousel or video thumbnail is captivating and obviously shows what the content actually is. The easier it is for somebody to identify the topic or theme of the content, the more likely they are to click and check it out. All right, let's jump right into it. How you can start trending with your hashtags and getting some serious traffic to your account and really grow your followers as well. First, you need to do your research. Okay, so where to start? Well, I always start with researching what my competitors are doing. What are similar people doing in the industry? You should begin looking at some similar artists to you. See what hashtags they're using, especially if they repeat use of certain tags that generates them a lot of engagement. Get inspired and then use what you've learned to look into anything similar. Try to avoid the big hashtags that have a lot of posts. Why? Because the volume of posts means that your content will get lost in the sea of accounts with huge follower numbers that usually dominate these hashtags. To get the right hashtags for you, find the hashtags where the top 12 posts don't have crazy high likes and comments. Okay, let me show you guys how to do this. For this, we're gonna use my phone. So go into the Instagram app. I have bad battery here. So go into the search bar, click tags, and we're gonna search for some hashtags here. First one we're gonna search for is music. If you're thinking about using music as a hashtag. Then you have about 338 million posts to compete with, as you see here, which your post will probably just drown in this, and you have very little chance of reaching to the top feed. But let's find out if you do have a chance. So the way that you do this is that you look at the top feed, which is, you have the top and the recent. Top, you have the top 12 posts. So let's go in and check out how much engagement they received. This one got 444 likes, 6 comments. This one got, a little less likes, but way more comments. A little less likes, comments as well. So go ahead and check these out and then see what the average amount of likes are and comments. If you receive about the same amount of likes and comments, you have a shot of trending on this hashtag. But if you don't receive anything remotely close to this, there's no use using that hashtag. Okay, so we need to find a hashtag that is a little bit more specific than music. So let's say you're a producer and you create new disco music. That's your genre. Go into the search. New disco. See, there's not that much post there. See the top feed, see what the average likes and comments they're getting. And if you have the same amount of likes or comments as the average here, you have a chance of trending on these hashtags. So do your research. Start small and then work yourself up. Start finding these niche hashtags that really represents you and the content that you share. And then once you grow and your engagement grow, you grow into these bigger hashtags as well. So the more likes and comments, as well as shares, saves, etc., you get on your posts gives you a higher chance of trending on the hashtags. So we know this, right? However, it's also really important how much engagement you get within the first hour or two of posting. I'll link to a post that will give you an understanding of how the Instagram algorithm works. Check that out in the caption. If you're struggling to get engagement on your post, then I'd really recommend you joining some pods to help with this. I actually made a video about the Instagram pods and how to use this. Check it out, and if you're interested in joining one, send me a DM on Instagram. If you naturally get a lot of engagement on your content, you should then optimize this more. When you get a comment, answer with a question to get people to come back and give more comments. Ramp up the interactions. You will then start trending on the different hashtags that you choose. If you are starting your Instagram from scratch and do not get a lot of engagement, then start with the smaller hashtags, the ones you actually have a chance of trending on. It's better to grow into different hashtags than to just waste real estate on hashtags that won't work for you. Your hashtags also needs to be relevant. So this is becoming more and more important. The more Instagram is enhancing their algorithm and including AI to help them sort content better. The worst thing that you can do and annoy the algorithm is to tag your content incorrectly. If you post a picture of yourself performing and use the hashtag in the studio, people who search for content related to in the studio will not want to see your content as it has nothing to do with the hashtag. The goal of using hashtags isn't so you can place your content in front of random people. You're using hashtags so people looking for specific things on the platform and are using the search bar can find what they're looking for. The more relevant you can get, the better. Perhaps on the picture of you performing, you mentioned in the caption being in the studio for a long time and it's nice to finally meet people again. So you feel maybe the hashtag in the studio may fit. Nope, because when people search on Instagram, they only see images, not captions. It's not like the YouTube algorithm where you see descriptions, thumbnails, preview. You basically have text, image, and video. So you need to make sure the hashtags you're using are directly relevant to what you're seeing on the photo and video. If you are using relevant hashtags that are describing your content, you will make the algorithm happy. Okay, so we've determined it's not only the amount of engagement that you get, they also need to be relevant to the post that you share. So the strategy of using the same hashtags on every post does not work, and it's a waste of opportunity. Start creating a list of all the different hashtags and note down the popularity next to them, the amount of posts. Remember, when we search for music, the 300 and something million, that's the popularity. That's what you have to compete with. Keep a spreadsheet on Google, and whenever you come across a good hashtag, make a record. Eventually, you will start compiling a serious list of some pretty specific and relevant hashtags to your brand and your content. As you are following a plan every week of what you have to post, you know the different areas you touch upon throughout the week. So you can start collecting some good hashtags that are relevant to the content that you share. You can use many of these hashtags on a regular basis, but there will always be something unique to each content piece that will need some strategic hashtag thinking and placement as well. And now the big question, right? What's the amount of hashtag that you should use? Well, let me introduce you guys to the staircase method. So start by choosing 5 to 7 hashtags that you know you can rank on. This is what you can bank on, right? Because you get the same amount of engagements as the competition. This is almost like a slam dunk. Because your content will consistently receive the amount of engagement that requires, then go ahead and select a few hashtags that are more top tier as well. Start by looking through your engagement and see how your top performing posts have done. Let's say you normally get 100 likes, but some posts will receive 300, depending on the content. Then select a few hashtags between 5 to 7 that are in this top tier as well. What will happen is that you will start ranking in the smaller hashtags right away, which will bring the engagement up even further. So you'll take a step up and can start competing on the bigger hashtags. This is called the staircase model, as you actually need to start trending small so you can get enough to go up a top level. Then you should also include a few really big hashtags as well. If you start trending on the bigger steps, you have also the opportunity of going to the top level. So if your post was to go viral through the first and smaller hashtags, you can then move up to the bigger ones as well. If you climb each step successfully, you will eventually be on the top step and competing on the bigger hashtags. It is very difficult to get on the top stairs, of course, and most of the time we will just go up 1 or 2 steps. Try to use anything from between 9 to 30 hashtags. Just test out and find out what works best for you. Learn as you go here. It's important to monitor this very closely so you can really optimize your hashtag strategy. You can go into the insights and see in the dashboard how much traffic came from hashtags on each individual post. If you see you gained some traction from certain hashtags, then repeat using them again if they're relevant. I typically receive a lot of engagement from my carousel tutorials, as I tend to use thumbnails that draw people in from the hashtag feed. So every time I post a carousel, I try different hashtags to see what works or not. All right, so I've given you the do-it-yourself tutorial, right? So let me give you guys some tools that actually do this for you. So there are tons of tools to help you with your hashtags. Finding the right hashtags and monitoring how you do on the hashtags. Flick is a tool with a 7-day free trial. Check that out. Sprout Social also helps you with both research and measuring, another tool. But before you join and start paying money to any of these tools, make sure you got a strong understanding of your hashtag strategy. Test it out before you invest. So remember, a little research goes a long way with hashtags. Have a spy on what other people similar to you are successfully using. Make sure every tag is relevant at all times and try out different amount of hashtags for each post. Keep climbing those stairs by starting low and work your way up to the bigger hashtags. Rome wasn't built in a day after all. Use the tools available to assist you with the research and measurement. But most importantly, go and experiment and let me know how much you improved in the comments. There you have it, how to use hashtags properly as a musician. If you like what you see here today, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment, it really helps me with the algorithm so more musicians can see my content and I really appreciate it. And subscribe to my channel for more music marketing related videos every week. That's it for today, guys. See you trending the hashtags. Good luck!